Xbox Record This is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy Diwali, Chipotle Bear, and BubbleBoy and Seven. This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy Diwali here, and welcome to Xbox Record This, episode 80. Joining me, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, BubbleBoy and Seven. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm happy to be here.
Very, very good. Very good. And joining us, as always, the assistant to the co-host, Chipotle Bear. How are you?
I am also doing well. I'll be honest, it has been a crazy week. Not as crazy as BubbleBoy's. But I was like real down the other day, just couldn't think about anything but like issues at work. And then all of a sudden I just was like, why am I like this? Like, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to find some fun stuff. And so we're going to make it a great day tomorrow. I'm going to try to pick up some Popeyes for lunch. I got a couple great observations. Good way to end the week. We'll see how it goes.
I feel the same way, Chipotle Bear. This week has been busy. And I don't know if I want to tell you. I guess I'll tell you guys about this after. But I forgot to say that Xbox Record This is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. And I've been doing a bad job. I don't think I've ever said this. We post on Saturdays, 12 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So you can always count on us to be posted on Saturdays. There used to be a bunch of other Xbox podcasts not a bunch, a couple that were around that time. Now we are the only ones, so you can rely on us. Saturdays XRT will host. Guys, let's jump into some shout outs, Jose.
Sorry, I was
some shout out.
I'm over here changing my window.
All right, we've got a huge XRT shout out to Jay Bizzle. He wrote to us on our Gmail. Jose, where can people write in if they want to write into the show?
You can always write into us at xboxrecordthis@gmail.com. You can also slide into those DMs, or if you see us out in the wild, Costco, Popeyes, always hit us up. Right, we usually are wearing XRT gear out there in the wild, thanks to BubbleBoy.
Very nice. And so Jay Bizzle writes, at XRT, been loving the show, fellas. Keep up the good work. Diwali is making me proud going after Dark Souls 3. As we get closer to the end of 2022, I wanted to throw out a few games that I've played on Game Pass, but they haven't gotten any love from XRT. Mortal Shell, Souls-like action RPG game that has some unique combat mechanics, which makes it more forgiving than Dark Souls games. Beautiful atmosphere and can be finished in 20-ish hours. Highly recommended for anyone who wants to scratch the old Soulsborne itch. Wasteland 3. Can't believe this game hasn't gotten more props since it came out. A turn-based RPG where actions have consequences. Funny and interesting story that has a lot of cool elements. Add BubbleBoy and Seven would be a great option for the backbone. I'm going to interrupt right there, J-Biz. Didn't you play this, Chance, or started?
Absolutely. I have played every game on his list that he's mentioning.
Oh, wow.
I've also played Hollow Knight. Great game.
Yeah, and
wait, we're not done yet.
I don't think it would. Wasteland wouldn't make sense.
Really? Isn't it like a turn-based?
Yeah, but there's so many little things on the screen that you have to keep an eye out for. I'm telling you, it's just so small. It's the smallest.
It's just so small, Jose. Just so small.
It's just so small.
That's what she said.
All right, moving on. Hollow Knight Void Heart Edition. Add Daddy Diwali. Why have you not played this yet? Seriously, this game would be right up your alley. No pun intended. Awesome game with Souls-like elements that is similar to Ori in many ways. I know, J-Biz. Maybe that's what I need to play next. I've avoided it for long enough. You know what? I might just save it until they officially announce when the sequel's coming out, because I'm getting that Mass Effect itch, J-Biz. I don't know about you. And then next one, Just Cause 4 Reloaded. This game is an absolute blast of a sandbox game. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and I don't think I've ever had so much fun finding unique ways to blow things up. Highly recommended if you just want an open world with awesome gameplay mechanics that get the creative juices flowing towards destruction. I am currently playing through Neo 2 on my wife's cousin's PS4, and that is another awesome game. And yes, still playing Elden Ring here and there. Here and there, J-Biz, you're always on that thing. Currently working on a Conan the Barbarian playthrough. P.S. Riley and I have started playing Grounded together and are really enjoying that. We can't wait to load up Halo this weekend and play through the campaign co-op. Keep up the good work, fellas. J Bizzle 002. Shout out to J Biz. Great.
Good to hear from you, buddy.
Fan of the show. Bogus,
always a pleasure.
I wanted to ask you, Bogus. I'm assuming you have 2 Xboxes in the house because you can't play Halo co-op unless it's only network co-op. It's not split screen. But I'm assuming you do. Maybe you have your old Xbox One or One X. I thought you got rid of them, or maybe you have a Series S that we don't know about. But you can only play Halo split screen, and we'll talk more about that later as well. But I'm also playing that, JBiz, and it is a blast. So we'll talk about that later. Like I said, I also wanted to give a huge shout out to my boss. I found out my boss Joey had listened to the show, and his words, gentlemen, he said, "I'm shocked. It's actually very good."
Why is he shocked?
I know. He's like, especially your audio quality. It's so good. And he's like, I'm not. I know. And he's like, I knew, it would be pretty good. He's like, but he's just like, I didn't think the audio would be so good. I'm like, yes, that was a goal from the beginning, was to have great audio. You can't have these caca, podcasts out there with these amateur laptop or camera mic. What is it? The little
built-in mics?
The little built-in mics on the cameras. And I'm like, yeah, we take it seriously. He's like, yeah, I'm actually gonna finish an episode.
Is it really a compliment?
I think
we're just gonna count it.
And then he said something about how he listened to it a few weeks ago, and I was talking about the liaison meeting. I was like, oh man, did I say something bad about work? So I'm gonna have to keep it cool here, Joey.
I thought Carol was your boss.
No, Joey Willett is my boss. He's director.
Well, Joey,
federal programs.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna appreciate that because he's a big Star Wars guy too. And I also said Trish listens to it too as well, and she said yes, she's listened to it. So Trish works with BubbleBoy over at Gateway.
Huge XRT Chiefs fan.
Oh, gosh. Moving on from the shout outs. Thank you so much for writing in. I hope I didn't miss anything on our YouTube. I will check that very quickly. But as I'm doing this, BubbleBoy, why don't you take it away for warm up for this week?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things in games is, and this is weird because I really don't care about like fashion or anything, but I love it when you get to customize characters in games and you really get to see it. Like I'm thinking of something like, for example, what I wasn't thinking of was Marvel's Avengers, the one that came out, because the customization was just like a slap in the face. And I think Gotham Knights actually does have some really good customization. So I'm curious to know. It's kind of why I wanted to put this on here, to see if it cracks Jose's list. And so I can go ahead and get started. I had things like Destiny 2 that I spent, and Cyberpunk that I spent all this time customizing my guy at the very beginning, but then didn't do a whole lot of customization after that for one reason or another. I know with Destiny 2 it was a little bit more, and with Cyberpunk I shouldn't say one reason or another. The reason was because I played it on its original launch and you couldn't go back and customize it and you couldn't look in the mirror and stuff. So I remember when Jose was telling me about it one time, he's like, oh, and I love when you see yourself. And I was like, wait, what? Oh yeah, that was patched
for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really easy. So I did customized my outfit a few times there.
Yeah,
So.
you do it once in the first when I first played it. So apparently they couldn't handle it at the beginning. Anyway, coming in at number 5, we talked about this last week. It's what kind of made me think about this, but South Park Fractured But Whole. I just got such a kick out of the difficulty curve and how the darker your skin was, the harder game was, and they were like, well, it's just real life. And then, but outside of that, it really was kind of cool how you could change all their, because they were like superheroes in that one, and how you could really change your whole play style and stuff based off of what kind of superhero you wanted to be at the time. And you could always like customize little things that were just so well done, like South Park. Number 4. Oh, go ahead.
I would say, sorry to interrupt you, but I do want a quick interjection. Huge shout out to D-Wally. He sent me the Stick of Truth, not the Fractured Butthole. But I will be playing that
and
here
that
shortly.
that one's the same thing. It's just a different universe, right? So it's like more of like a Lord of the Rings customization than
I enjoyed the Stick of Truth more than the Fractured Butthole.
Yeah, so I'm excited to play it. Thanks,
I am going to
go
back.
Both worth playing.
That was such a good
beginning.
That was such a good reminder, Daniel. I need to go back and try them both.
Yeah, especially because you probably played the 360 version, so you'll get new achievements on the X1 version.
Yeah. So, coming in at number 4, Elden Ring. I spent ungodly amounts of time on Elden Ring, and I can remember like genuinely thinking there were very few just lame combinations that you could come up with. There were some weird ones, and of course the like let me solo her guy with the bucket head and the undies was definitely such a trademark thing. But
I hope I run into him
someday. I know the only reason I couldn't put it higher was because I wish so badly there was a transmog system, and there's just not.
What do you mean?
Transmog is, and I was just gonna say, if you don't know what transmog is, it's where you can take, and usually have to pay like in Elden Ring, you'd pay all kinds of runes for it, but you can pay or do whatever, not real money, but because it's not EA, but you could give whatever to take your, like if you wanted to dress as the let me solo her person, but have the stats of the other things, like you take the stats of something you want. Because I did find,
so you're just changing your appearance but keeping your stats.
Correct. Because I found towards the end, in the end,
you had to wear
stuff,
certain
I was like, I don't love this armor, but it's where I have to go. So
gotcha.
was the only reason it wasn't higher. Number 3 on this, and it's nothing necessarily too fancy or special, but Skyrim was just so much fun. And I can remember going back, and one of the coolest things about it, and it isn't even necessarily character customization, but the character's world customization when you had your own house, and I would put mannequins up, and I would dress the mannequins. I can't even tell you that Hearthstone DLC. Yeah, go ahead.
In Oblivion, I was like super upset. Like I probably spent 10 hours just because it was really difficult to perfectly place like helmets and stuff. It wasn't where you had the armor, your statues or whatever in the future. So I would buy bookshelves and perfectly place stuff. Pony knows so many hours.
I believe it. I believe every bit of it. And I bet like you could just sit there and then you were like, oh wow, 3 hours just went by and I did nothing. But that's what's cool, right? That's what makes games fun, I think. And I loved that you could like customize yourself. And then because I can remember wanting the Daedric armor, but also the Dragon Bone armor. And I was like, what do I do? But I was like, well, I'll just wear one and I'll have my companion, who's usually Ayla the Huntress, wear the other one, right?
Always solo, no companions in Skyrim.
Come on. Number 2, and I don't know how this one's number 2, but I just love it. And there's a funny story that goes along with it. But Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I loved the tattoos. Every time you got a tattoo,
demoted. Chipotle, you're back to assistant the host.
That's fine. It was the most exciting thing in the world to me to go try out his tattoos. And I loved the beards. It was like one of the first or most memorable beard games I can remember.
Is this Assassin's Creed or Hipster
Red Dead
Simulator?
Had way better beards and facial hair.
It had a couple to choose from.
Oh.
And here's why I remember it being so cool too. And because I was like, yep, that'll never happen, but I have everything ready. So Ashley promised me I would be allowed to grow out a big beard. And I bought these little Viking rune beads that I can like tie braids around my beard. She's like, I'll let you do that. You'll be allowed to do that only if you have the same body as Eivor in the game. She's like,
So she
"You
made a
start."
good bet.
Yep, she's
Damn,
like, "You
that's
start
messed up.
working out and get even halfway as good looking as him, and you can do it." And then number one, and I don't even know if you played this, Daniel. I'm sorry. I know Jose did, and Cordy Morgs will like this, but Injustice 2 had one of the greatest like cosmetic
Number
outfit.
one.
That's
Dude,
an interesting pull for number one.
it was so memorable to me, and you could transmog things and you could change the colors on things, and I just remember like always wanting to go, I'm gonna make the coolest Batman ever. And then when they had all the different DLCs that came out and you could change people into looking like Joker and stuff, I just remember having so much fun. And I think one thing that always is important to me, or that jumps out to me, is that like graphical fidelity, and Injustice 2 was so well done with the graphics, that from a visual standpoint, which is really what all these are about anyway, that was one of my favorites. And because too, it's characters. I think the other thing that makes it even more important, or memorable to me, is like South Park. It's characters that you only see typically dressed one way, right? You only see Batman. Well, I guess Batman you see in different versions, but for the most part, they have one iconic outfit. But then for you to get to go and change all those things about it was really, really memorable to me. So
That's cool, man.
Very, very good. Chipotle Bear, let's hear yours, because mine's definitely the definitive list here.
Okay.
I knocked
Well,
out.
so mine,
You
I have
guys are
some
going to be
wild-
shocked. With
I have
my
some
number.
wild cards in mind. I could guess at least two of Dan's right off the bat. But for my honorable mention, Disney Dreamlight Valley, which to be fair, I have not played. Watched my daughter play it. I've helped her play it. I was blown away by the level of customization. I mean, like if I would have let Penelope, she would have spent 45 minutes customizing her character.
I mentioned that when I first talked about Cora.
Yeah,
spent
with Cora,
an hour
right, yeah.
just designing dresses.
Yeah, and it was very impressive how well it was done. So I got to give a shout out to that. I also put Elden Ring here. I love Elden Ring, and I loved the customization. I had an issue with the armor seem like I liked armors better than others visually, but I couldn't use them because I needed to buff certain things. And I put a lot of time at the very first time making mine like really cool with like the eyes and the layered hair and stuff like that. And then I almost never got to see her face, so I didn't love that.
Yep.
And then I did also put Gotham Knights here. And I'll talk more about why it didn't crack the top 5 when we get to our what have we been playing this week. But I am not the kind of guy like Chance who spends a lot of time customizing the outfit of someone in a game. I just am not. Like I'd rather just play the game. And I every time I changed my suit in Gotham City, I would take the time to like customize my mask and my cowl and the colors. I just really enjoyed it because it was simple enough that I didn't get lost in it, but it was also unique enough that I was like, ooh, I like those gloves. You know what I mean? And it doesn't change your abilities at all, like nothing at all. But I did really enjoy that piece, and I thought it was really well done. So honorable mentions. My official number 5, and this is a little bit of a gray area, Forza Horizon 5. I know you don't have a character. I know your character is the.
I'll
I
take
mean,
it.
I guess
You do have a. You do.
But
have
I mean, I saw
character.
the car as the character, and
you're good.
I think it is incredible what you can do in that game, not only with the
Good pull.
amount of cars, but the designs. You can make your own. You can use it to make money. I think that's
still making cash on my
your
N7 design.
I bet you are. So I think that's a really cool pull. That's my number 5. My number 4 is Modern Warfare Warzone. I think even though I haven't played Warzone in a long time, I don't know when I'm going to pick up the new one.
It just got out of control towards the end, just heinous.
But I think they did a great job of selling that. I bet they made so much money on those customizations. And I spent time customizing my guy. I bought an extra skin for Ghost. I bought the Day of the Dead one. Like I got sucked in, and I don't really care about those things. I also think it helped, and it was smart that you see your character in full gear every time you lit up a map.
Yes.
Like in that scene where you're getting off the helicopter and you fist it up and you're jumping off, you feel really cool when you have a cool character, right?
About.
And I loved that they did like the Sylvester Stallones and the T-1000s. And Dan, you bought Jigsaw? Is that who you bought? You bought
I have Jigsaw. I did like Jigsaw.
I thought those were cool touches, man. So I appreciate that. Number 4. Number 3, I also put Skyrim, just because, like, especially for its time, like you could spend so much time adjusting facial features and like
it's crazy.
The different
still to this day
races.
Similar
the races
vein alone, even if it was
just the races, exactly,
would have been impressive. But you had the the
orcs, Khajiits,
yeah,
Argonians, Bretons, Red.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll stop.
Number 2, in a similar vein, Fallout 4. I actually spent a ridiculous amount of time in Fallout 4 making my guy look like me, because I was just like, if I want to be in this game, I know it's a big game, I want to do that. And it was cool. And again, it is one of those where you don't see yourself from the front as much as you kind of, I think I would have liked. I still thought that was a cool feature, and especially for its time. Big shout out to Goose. I know I loved Fallout 4. I'm so pumped for Fallout 5 whenever that comes out in like 10 years. And then my last one, I did put Cyberpunk, because different than Chance's playthrough.
Number 1?
Dude, the level of what you could do with your character from the first start. And again, I waited till the patches.
Genitals. Jose's talking about customizing the genitals, you guys.
But yes, but also like the cyber elements, the tattoos, the like metal embedded in your skin, the hairstyles. Like, I kid you not, because I played a female character, I probably spent 30 minutes making her hair the right shape that I wanted, and I wanted this like layer of this blue and this green. And I also loved, again, in the game, and it's very unique for RPGs, you'd see yourself in the mirror. Like, that reminded me of what I'd look like. And a couple of times I was like, ooh, I don't like that. I'm going to go change that. And even with outfits, because you do really see the outfits pretty high def in the game. So I know that seems a little nutty, and it seems unfair because it's a new game, but I think they did a great job with that. I really do. And I imagine with what they're going to do with The Witcher, and eventually whatever they do with Cyberpunk universe, it's going to be pretty banana sandwich. So that's my top 5. Dan, go ahead.
No, you're right, Jose. It is really impressive. So Jose and I are on the same page here. We've got the definitive list.
We had the one I didn't similarities.
The one I didn't have is Mass Effect. I know Dan's going to put Mass Effect.
Of course, you're going to put Mass Effect.
Correct. So honorable mention: Halo Infinite. I like a lot with Halo Infinite. They are growing. The only thing they need to change is being able to apply different colors to all the different cores. Yep, exactly. 100%. Like, if we can do that, it would probably be on the top 5. There is a lot there that I really do enjoy, but they're still evolving. So that had to be an honorable mention for me. But do I think it's the best out of all the Halos? Yes, I do really, really enjoy it. Especially now. You guys haven't seen my Spartans recently. I have some sick Spartans, and I can't wait to show them to you when we jump in.
I downloaded that update last night, but I'm ready to go.
Another honorable mention, Elden Ring. I agree. We were all kind of the same on this. Your actual face, not that great, not that detailed, but there are some awesome armor sets in that game. It just sucks, like Chance said. I wish I could just have the one I want to look like and have the stats that I need. So that was the negative with Elden Ring. So here's the definitive list. Number 5, like Jose said, Cyberpunk is on there. I have to put Cyberpunk on there. I didn't go quite into detail like Jose did, but he's absolutely right. The amount of things you can do, I forgot about all the cybernetic stuff and all that. It's truly impressive. But I also have tied for number 5, Destiny 2. That has improved
That's
greatly.
A good one too.
Especially now, Chance, because you can like pick colors and you don't have to worry about using them, like you can just...
that was what always drove me nuts. I was like, oh, but I have this
exactly
amazing... I remember I had one that reminded me of every like cool sports jersey we had from Green Mountain.
Yeah.
But I only had like 2 of them. And
exactly.
I could never find it again. I was like, I can't use this. I can't use it.
Not only that, Chance, too, you can also keep a piece of armor that you like with good stats and then change the appearance of it, just like you're talking about with the transmog or whatever. So you can do that now in Destiny. So that's exactly that. That's what something Halo Infinite needs. Well, I guess you don't really need the stats, but Destiny 2 does that now. But that wasn't there at launch. So I can't, put it higher for that. But you can do a lot of great customization in Destiny 2 and make your Guardian feel like unique to you. So number 4, have to have it on here. Skyrim, not only for its time, but also like Jose and Chance mentioned, the races, your house, everything. It's still incredible to this day. You can spend hours creating your customer. Number 3, like Jose said, Fallout 4. That I spent a lot of time staring, right at the beginning when you're looking in the mirror in the bathroom with your wife or husband or whatever. Spent a lot of time with that. And not only, I think you guys also forgot, think about all the different clothing items you pick up throughout the thing
and
that you can wear
throughout.
Yep. And the power armor, like there's a lot going on there for customization for Fallout. So Fallout, and they were doing that a long time ago. So shout out to Fallout in general. And then I have number 2, of course I had to have it on out of respect, even though it's not the best. Like, let's be real. Some of the faces in Mass Effect aren't the best, but I did as best as I could. I have my shepherd. My shepherd wasn't the default shepherd. I have my own shepherd who is my shepherd. I have my Paragon shepherd and I have my Renegade shepherd. And those are my shepherds, which is awesome to have that customization. But there was a point, I think it started in 2, where you could really start to customize your armor, which was really good. And then in 3, it was really good as well.
And
Go ahead, Jose.
people that we did mention, but it's an important point about Mass Effect. It's one of
They're
the very
teammates.
few games where your character carries through the games. Like that
Yeah.
was a huge and still is a huge feature. I also, for the record, almost put Andromeda on this because I
Yeah.
appreciated that they let you choose between the female and male writer, and there were a lot of
Mhm.
customization options. Even though I don't think it compares to like the first trilogy. I think they did
Yeah.
a good job there too.
Completely agree. I think Mass Effect underrated in that aspect, especially at the time too. But then number one, this is going to blow you guys away. Still the best character customization for any shooter, still to this day. Rainbow Six Vegas 2.
Yeah,
Everybody forgets
okay.
about this.
Nope.
You literally could
Yeah.
pick different
Yeah.
pants, different shirt, different vest, different shoulder, different helmet. You could change the color. You could create your own
You're
color,
right.
Chance. Remember, you could literally,
Yep.
I created
Oh,
penis
man.
camo. I made it flesh colored, and I would wear a specific helmet and clothing to make it. Yes. And not only that, you could pick certain guns, customize the crap out of your
I
guns,
remember.
customize
Yeah.
so much
I
to
would have
this
never
day.
remembered that one.
And
yep.
the thing that put it on top, and I still have my character to this day, I scanned my face in with the Xbox 360 camera. I still have my face that looks like me in Rainbow Six Vegas 2. From the power of the cloud and Xbox somehow saving it, hopefully forever, I will have a character in a game that looks identical to me. I'm gonna have to pull it up and
it looks better than the JBiz 2K baller.
exactly than the JBiz ballers. So number one, Rainbow Six Vegas 2. For
Send it to me and I'll put it in the thumbnail, but if you got it out for this week.
I will get it right now. And I need to upload a video of it because I'm I want that to be on the internet forever.
You have JBiz, right, Jose?
Yeah, JBiz.
Is it in the chat?
With him,
you have it
with
send
his
it to
picture.
me.
Yeah, we'll have to have him send it to you. So great question, BubbleBoy. I love it. That has been XRT's top 5 character customization. Hopefully, you guys, Starfield here coming up soon is going to allow as many.
Yeah, I thought about
more
options.
On the list. And I know it's not on our news list, but like RIP Starfield original release date, right? It's tomorrow.
What? Oh, yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even that hit me today. I was like
11/11/22. We could have been playing Starfield right now. Wow, can you imagine?
I 2 hours.
I can't. And you know what?
It would have been too much.
End of the day,
too much, soon. Jose. It would have been too much.
It would have been way too much.
Way too
just
that's what she said.
Switch to the other one, not the one where he's laughing, right, Chance?
That's what she said.
That's what she's. Thank you. Yeah, that one. Michael. All right, guys, let's jump into some Xbox news. Love the warm up for the week. Oh, also, I had a real-time update here. I forgot to do some extra shout outs. We have a new follower on Instagram. Does anyone want to take a guess on who it is? Someone related to me.
Oh, related to you.
It's not Pony.
No.
My sister. Shout out to my sister for following XRT on Instagram. Also, shout out to Kaya Brooks. It says beach life, working out, modeling, actress, buying home and fixing homes is my passion. I can't tell if this is a bot or not, but either way, I mean,
it's got to be a bot.
Fixing homes
I know. Beverly Hills, California, 14 posts, 16 followers, following 84. I don't know, bot or not. Shout out to Kaya Brooks. And then also, I have to give a huge shout out. I don't know if you, Jose, saw my my post on Twitter, didn't you, Jose? It's gamer time. Okay, so Chance, did you see the tweet? You didn't see the tweet, did you? You son
What's
of
a tweet?
I'm just gonna have to play it right now because Jose knows how good it is.
Attention, all Sony ponies and Xbox and the Gamer Battalion. It's gamer time.
Everybody go check out the tweet. Jose, do you remember what I did in this tweet and what I was holding? Can you describe it, Chance, please?
You were holding the Modern Warfare Little Caesars bundle and a Mountain Dew. It's my leader right there, guys.
So Dustin Furman, shout out to Sacred Symbols. He tweeted out the day that the Modern Warfare 2 came out. He tweeted him getting the Little Caesars and just chugging a little bit of Mountain Dew. And he goes, it's gamer time. And I thought it was hilarious. And I had to answer the call, BubbleBoy. I don't even own Modern Warfare 2, as you know. So this double XP and these charms mean nothing to me. But I had to answer the call. And as a result, Jose, that tweet had like over 13,000 impressions. Yeah,
His
exactly.
or yours?
Mine. Oh, here it is.
Wow.
Updated stats: 15,000 impressions, 1,400 engagements, 148
Okay.
detail expands, 264 profile visits, and we got some new followers thanks to Dustin retweeting my tweet.
All right. Yeah.
And so he
Take
said,
it, bud.
let's get this going. So I got to shout out some of the new followers. Shout out to I think Snow Magic started following me. ACA liked me. Alex Davio. Shout out to Alex for
We
following.
just lost him.
Just lost him.
Or her.
And no, I saw Dave. I liked one of his tweets today. And there's somebody else. I think that's it. So I had to give a shout out to some of the new followers who are fans of Sacred Symbols as well. So thank you. Hopefully you're listening to this. Hopefully you'll see this. And don't forget, boys, it's gamer time. Let's jump in to some Xbox news.
News team, assemble!
We got to start off the news with the biggest news of the week. We completely forgot to mention this. Salute to all of our fellow Spectres out there. 11/7/22, November 7th, also known as N7 Day 2022, came and went just a few days ago, and the Mass Effect teased something, and this is coming from Shinobi. This is where I found the SoundCloud link. It says Geth noises, and then Lyra says, exactly, the council will be furious.
Well, hold on. Are we allowed to play this, Jose? Can I play it?
We can
Yeah,
play
go
it.
ahead.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I got it up right here.
All right. Well, Chance is going to play. This was tweeted out by Mass Effect. We're not hearing it, Chance. Sorry. Okay, I'll just read it while Chance is listening to it. It says, exactly, the council will be furious, although they should know by now not to underestimate human defiance. Scrambled. I see it. How did we miss this? We got to tease you guys. I still think Mass Effect is probably way further out than, I'd like to think. But BubbleBoy, straight to you. What do you think of this little tease? Did this excite you? Or do you think this is, do you think this is...
I was hoping for more. I mean, obviously, any little bit of Mass Effect related stuff is exciting, but it was N7 Day. Like gosh, I really was just hoping for more. You guys couldn't hear. I was playing it. I played it.
Yeah, we couldn't hear it.
It's
Try
really
this.
strange.
Everybody quiet.
BubbleBoy.
Ready?
Exactly. The council will be furious. Although they should know by now not to underestimate human defiance. How did we miss that? Exactly. The council will be furious. Although they should know by now not to underestimate human defiance.
There you go.
There it is. So that was Liara. No spoilers, but Liara is one of the main characters in the Mass Effect trilogy. Jose, I'll throw it to you now.
Who would you be spoiling that to?
Well, we gotta be.
It does matter though, depending on your playthrough. To be fair,
exactly. We gotta be conscious of people
okay.
who have not played it, and we don't want we got to work on that. I don't want to spoil things for people. Jose, do you think this game is going to take place right after the events of Mass Effect 3, or do you think this is taking more Andromeda timeline?
So I don't know, but I think based on the image, which is more of like a moving image, which is, it looks like they're rebuilding.
By the way, quick note, saw like the Omega symbol on there for the Omega, what is it? Base, I guess. I don't know what
Omega Relay, wasn't that what it was called?
No, not Omega. The club, or no, what's it called?
Yeah, club.
No, that's
Omega's the planet.
Yeah,
like the station.
the station where what's her face is. The other.
Oh, the car. Sorry. Oh, we are terrible. I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a red background.
And she's what's her face?
Spire looking.
What's her face? The actress, Matrix, Trinity.
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Carrie-Anne Moss
Oh my
voices
gosh.
her. Okay, look that up, BubbleBoy. Jose, you're saying? Sorry.
No, so I was going to say I don't think it's right after the games. I think we're talking like 6 months to a year following the events, because like I said, they're rebuilding this stuff. It takes time, but it gives just enough time for something to have like either survived or for something something connected to obviously I don't want to say the names of the bad guys because I don't want to spoil things, but like I think they're going to try to continue the story, because as much as Andromeda was important, I think that people wanted more of the original trilogy. So I think this is their effort to try to go back to that storyline a little bit. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
All right. BubbleBoy Arya Talak was her name. So back to you. On the opposite, do you think this could be Andromeda? Because spoilers, not spoilers, Asari can live hundreds, thousands of years, 1,000 years or something. So it could be far in the
Yeah,
future.
I'd be okay with that. I really would. I know Andromeda was not well received, and that's okay.
Best
That
combat,
doesn't.
best combat
Oh, for
out of all of
sure,
them,
for sure, and the
and leveling
exploration. Yep. And
character
so, and if they
customization.
could bring Liara into it,
Mhm.
because you're absolutely right, she can live so much longer. I'd be perfectly okay with that. I'm not going to be someone who hates all over things before I even see what it is, especially for something that I want to be so well done. Like, it's always crazy to me that when you read those message boards, which you never should anyway, but like someone who obviously cares about the game because they're spending the time to go and seek this stuff out, and they just have all that criticism and negative things to say. I just don't like it. I've always said, and I'm sure I've said it on this before, but I know I've said it to you 100 times. I would love to see them do something with the First Contact Wars.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen,
And
though.
it doesn't seem like it's going to happen here, but you never know.
Maybe down the road. I
Yeah.
also want to say shout out to Mr. Maddie Plays, a fan of his. We are all fans of Mr. Maddie and Defining Duke and his channel. He says, I think this teaser BioWare has done is one of the best yet. The speculation is off the charts. So
Interesting.
I can't wait to see more. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. But for anyone out there who is still not played the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, go play it. My number one game of all time. Probably all of ours is Chance. Is that probably your favorite game? I don't know if that's your favorite, but
God, it's
up there for you,
that's when
but
we
number
talked
one
about
for me.
if the remastered trilogy, the Legendary Edition had the multiplayer, it would be the one
Ooh.
game, right? That you take if you only
Yeah.
had one game left to play, be that
Yep.
one. So
Let's move on to the next story. By the way, we've lost Chipotle Bear. I think he had acidic hot caca diarrhea, but he's back now. He made it back. Jose, let's throw it over to you. Netflix on Twitter. Gears of War was released 16 years ago today, and to mark the occasion, Netflix, what a weird date, 16 years. Netflix has partnered with the Coalition to adapt the Gears of War video game saga into a live-action feature film followed by an adult animated series with the potential for more stories to follow. Jose, are you excited for Gears turning into a TV show, or are we getting too many TV shows from video games?
I am absolutely pumped. And to be fair, and I've said this many times on this show, my taste in shows and movies is not what people would call good. I just like things that are fun because life is hard enough and stressful as it is. I like escapism. Even things that are not amazing, I still enjoy them. And so I look at this as a huge win just because, again, I love that they're trying to adapt more video game stuff. Now, to be fair, we're starting to enter this realm of like, as they make more and more of these games into movies and shows, like they're not all going to hit. Like everyone needs to brace themselves. Not all of them are going to be good. Some are going to be bad. Most of them are probably going to be in the middle, and we're going to get probably a couple bangers in there, here and there. I think Gears lends itself to a great story. It lends itself to a cool background. I was listening to, I think it was Unlocked today, and they were talking about how like if they
horror
went
show.
to, horror show would be cool. I would love that for sure.
Yeah,
But
for
they were
sure.
talking about like making
Resident
it an
Evil fan.
anime, and they were talking about Castlevania, which I talked about last week. Like Castlevania was a super dope anime on Netflix, and so I think they could do some cool stuff with that art style that opens them up creatively, where they don't have to spend as much money and could do that. I think it's very cool. I think the question I have is, where are we talking about in the timeline? Are we talking about them making a movie or show about the games that have already been created, which I'm not opposed to, but it's a little different because it's kind of like Last of Us. Like I don't know the story to Last of Us, but most of the gaming space does, right? And so in that show, are they going to follow that true to the scale, or are they going to manipulate it? That'll be interesting. Same thing with Gears. I do know the Gears story. So are they going to follow everything where it's more like, okay, here's this thing coming up. Okay, here's this thing coming up. And is that a good idea? Is it bad? Is it a good idea for them to change it? And it's very interesting that they announced both a movie and a show. That seems very interesting to me. Now, obviously, I think that means they're going to do different stories and maybe other parts of the universe. But that's weird to me. And I'm not complaining. I'm not mad. It's just that seems a little bizarre. Those are kind of my thoughts for now. Chance or Dan?
Yeah, what do you think has more potential, Chance? The movie or cartoons?
It's not
Netflix
a
movie, not a theater movie.
no. I know it's. I don't. I hope it's not a cartoon. It's not a children's game, and not that cartoons have to be for children, because they certainly don't. But I just don't
No,
think
they
that.
are doing a cartoon, right, Jose? They're doing.
They didn't say it was animated. Those were
I
speculation.
thought it was animated. Oh,
Yeah, I wouldn't love that. I'd love to see like a Coltrane biopic kind of thing. Like I think that would be really
yeah.
cool if they
No.
did.
No. The movie is a live action and then an adult animated series.
Yeah,
So
then count me out for that, but count me in for the movie.
really, you're not a big fan of the animated series?
I
Okay.
just I don't know. I think I don't like too many, or I can't think of any animated series right now that I enjoy that aren't comedy.
So you didn't watch any Cyberpunk? You didn't check that out?
Nope.
Jose,
I
did
mean,
you
can
check it out?
can you name an animated series that isn't comedy that you
No,
like?
but I'm not like a big. You're right, but I'm not a big anime fan, so I
Yeah,
can't
me neither.
say. And I hear people who do like
I am.
anime like the Cyberpunk. Apparently, that Cyberpunk show is really, really good. Also, really, really gory and graphic. So
I
maybe they'll
tried the
go.
Castlevania one that was
Yeah, I
supposed to be
heard that
so
was
well
good
done.
too.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I
Mm,
couldn't get into it.
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm excited. Like Jose said, hopefully we'll get a decent show, and it is exciting. I think there is potential there. I think honestly, guys, I'm excited for that Fallout show. I think that has
I
some
am
good
too.
potential. So shout out to Fallout on Amazon. Let's move to the next story. Battlefield 2042 development update, and this came the other day. Actually, was just earlier today. With the upcoming update 3.2, the class system of previous Battlefield games will return as we rework the game's specialist system. During the season, Manifest and Breakaway maps will be reworked. These Battlefield maps have been given an overhaul to receive more cover and overall improved flow throughout. In December, following the launch of Season 3, there will be a bunch of free access periods to let new players hit the battlefield, and even more no patch will deploy when Battlefield 2042 becomes available to EA Play members and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members. Chance's patience has paid off. This is the new season for Battlefield, so he'll be jumping in for free with his Game Pass subscription. I wanted to say very quickly my reaction to this. I know everyone hates, or we're going back to specialists, right? So we're going to have assault or a medic, a support, an engineer, and the recon sniper class, right? Like in old Battlefield games. To both of you, do you think that's a good thing or necessary? Because my thing is I kind of appreciated being able to select my different classes and using their power. Like I would use the grapple shot guy, or I would use one of the recon guys, and then being able to pick whatever gun I want for them, and then pick whatever support class or like C4 or spawn beacon. So anybody can have spawn beacon, anybody can have C4. Now we're going back to that typical Battlefield where only certain classes are going to have certain access to certain guns and or weapons and or equipment. I don't know how I feel about that, because I liked being able to pick my guy, like I said, the grappling shot guy or the reviving guy who revives quicker. Jose, you had your hand raised. Tell me what you think about going back to classes, the 4 classes.
So I'm actually I think I'm in favor of it. Here's why. I love medic. That is my role. That's what I like being on the battlefield. I'm all about that class. I don't love that I had to be Falk to get the fast revive. And it's nothing against her specifically. I just wanted to play as someone else up there.
Yes, I agree.
I felt like that was just it wasn't terrible. Like this is clearly a very first world problem, truly. But the truth is, like, I would like to be able to pick any operator and say you are designated medic. But here's the thing: I do think I want to know what they're going to do with all those special things, because I think it was cool that there were like 10 of them as opposed to 4. So are they going to open it up now where you can basically earn all of those tools and then you're choosing the tool that you want or the perk that you want in that way? Because I don't want to lose all those things. I obviously don't like the grapple hook is a great example. That was new to Battlefield 2042. Don't give that up just because we're going back to the old classes. But then how do you implement that? Does it mean as whatever character I pick, ideally not Falk, right? How do I do that? So I trust them. I think that they put a lot of work into this. I think if the system was just blowing people out of the water, they would stick with it. So I think this is a clear indication that this is a request they're getting a lot. I appreciate that they're listening to the fans in that regard. And at the end of the day, I'm still going to be the medic. And if it's Falk, it's fine. Like I'm not going to quit the game because I have to be Falk. I'm excited to see a little bit of change and some additions. And of course, happy to get BubbleBoy back out there with us for some XRT plays.
BubbleBoy, which character were you rocking, and what do you think
I was
of
Falk
switching this
too.
up? Okay,
Man, by the way, I got to give you that shout out. I saw your achievement tracker that you got 2,990 of the 3,000 that you need. How many people did you shoot with?
I was just constantly shooting.
That's all he did. He didn't kill anybody. Game. He was just
annoying. And it has the worst aim, and it's got range of like 10 feet, and it just does a little like bloop.
I got it the next game,
okay.
thankfully. Thank God.
Okay.
Yeah, it was terrible. But no, thoughts on the classes, BubbleBoy? Does it not phase you, or you don't care? Because did you even try? Because you were kind of unlocking them, huh? So you didn't really get a chance to unlock all
and then
of them.
I got the grapple hook, and so I stuck with that one for a little bit. It won't phase me because I didn't get to really sink my teeth into it too much. I just stuck with Falk. For 9 of the 10 hours that I played it. So
yeah, no, shout out to all those medics out there. We did just want to make sure everyone knows now you have no excuse not to come play some Battlefield with us. It will be on Game Pass. So hopefully BubbleBoy and Bacon now, because he was waiting for that as well, will be able to join us.
That'll be good. It'd be good to play with Bacon again. Missed that guy.
Battlefield. Yeah, he liked it. BubbleBoy, talk to us about Halo Infinite. Promises shorter seasons, more consistent content drops, and bigger things to come. Well, I hope so, Halo, because I'm still a fan.
Yeah, and I just wanted to know more than anything, and obviously we'll talk about it when we get into what we've been playing a little bit. But you guys have your new season downloaded, right? Or your new winter update
updated last night
and everything. And just what you think so far of it. Not necessarily. I put this article on here because it was like the first one I saw that was talking about it. But
I can jump in here. The battle pass itself, cool that it's free. Nothing I saw in there was like blew me away. I'm not gonna lie. Usually, like in the previous seasons, I'm like, this is cool gear. This is pretty cool. But it's free. Whatever. I'll get through it. XP. I didn't have a problem with it before. I felt like I was leveling up just fine. It is cool. So like you do a match, you get 150. If you're in the top 50%, you get an extra 50% XP. If you're number one, you get 50 XP. And then there's there's some other ones. So I mean, to me, XP, once they adjusted it that first time, I have not had a problem with it. So what I do like though, guys, is you know how we had the weekly challenges. To get through them, like it was kind of a grind. There were a lot, you had to go like through multiple pages. It's basically just one now, and they're all pretty doable. And those now unlock just a single cosmetic item. So I actually like how they changed it. I got mine unlocked for this week. The last challenge sucked though. You have to go on a killing spree, and that's not as easy as you think it is when you're playing by yourself.
All right, never getting that item. Love it.
No, so I had to go to SWAT, and then I would get to like 3 kills. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit until I could get 2 more kills to go on a killing spree here, and I eventually got it. And then I'll talk more about co-op later, which, spoiler alert, is awesome. Okay, so Jose, you haven't played it either. BubbleBoy, you haven't played it. Are either of you going to jump back in? Because I got to say, yeah. Last thing, I did play the first new arena map. And it's got like 2 jumps that go to this middle area. And then in the middle, you're thinking the only way to get there is you can take the jumps. No, it has a warp hidden on the other end that you fall down this I don't know, just this tube or something. And then it transports you back there. And so there've been a few times where people have been, hitting us, picking us off from over there. And then they forget that you can take the warp and it brings you right behind them. And then you just melee them and assassinate them from the back. So I do think the new arena map is very good. I do like it a lot. I have not played the big team one yet, and I guess they had issues and might have actually had to take it out. So, Jose, what were you going to say really quick? Sorry.
No, I have not played it yet, but I'm super pumped to get back into it. to be fair, whereas we're entering now like the holiday season, that was the time last year where like a lot of our friends, like Alan was back in town. That was honestly the first time I met like Wonton and was playing with Brian. And so like I'm actually looking very forward to that over Thanksgiving and Christmas. And also for Battlefield, like I think because it's free, even though for the record, all of our friends make good money. Like we're adults with like careers, but people are like $35 for a game. I'm like, but you
BubbleBoy.
spent
I
more with
can't
that
pay
at
$30.
you spent more with that at In and Out last weekend. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
so
know.
so anyway, I'm excited to play with everyone, and I think it's cool that they're doing a free battle pass. Now, granted, I don't mind paying for them. Again, I'm happy to
Yeah.
support 343, but
I've got
I
my
think that's a
money's
cool
worth.
element, man. That's not something a lot of other people are doing, right? Everybody is like only pay in terms of multiplayer
Yeah.
stuff. So I think that's a nice thing for 343 to do.
So BubbleBoy, I'll just talk about the campaign co-op. Guys, it is awesome. It works flawlessly. I played with Bacon last night. We started up the campaign. We're trying to do some of the achievements. It flawless, like no issues whatsoever. It is so cool to like inspect another Master Chief because you don't really get to see him, from third person. And I got, was looking at him because you're all chiefs, and it's really detailed, looks really awesome. It's cool to like jump and like grapple onto your teammate and then use him to grapple you with everything. It's so cool to see each other grapple shooting around. We were laughing and having a blast the entire time, just killing grunts, destroying it. It's a shame that this didn't launch with the game because I feel like a lot more people would have enjoyed the campaign. It was missing for sure, but I highly recommend it. JBiz, you will have a blast playing it. It is so much fun to play the campaign co-op. And
What
we've
a
been
cool
going.
experience for him as a dad with Riley.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
That's
I was
awesome.
thinking like JBiz, I'm so jealous you get to do that. Like I would do anything to be able to play Halo with Grayson right now. But I have to say I'm really impressed with the campaign. I forget how good it is and how great it looks. Like I've watched that first cutscene, with Esparza, when he sees the image of his kid saying so big, and he ages and everything, and he finds Chief. Like I had to watch that again. I'm having a blast, you guys. I can't wait to jump back in, to be honest with you, and play
Perfect.
some more with Bacon. But again, it sucks that wasn't there at launch. But I do think I'm more excited about that than necessarily all the multiplayer stuff. Tying back in, hold on, Jose, really quickly to Chance's article. I hope they can keep their cadence in the next year. I hope they get more consistent maps, more consistent game modes. I still haven't played the new game mode, which I still need to try. And hopefully the next big thing will be a BR, and I hope it hits. So Jose, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know people are going to ring me for this because obviously they kind of lied by not having this at launch, but I think it's smart for them to like kind of call their shot. Like I think that really means that they have plans in play to really follow this idea of more consistent drops, bigger things, and more stability. The question I was going to ask you, Dan, is it was interesting how much Cyberpunk got obviously a lot of crap for what happened at launch, and people really wrote it off, and it was like $16 everywhere right away. And then as soon as they got a couple of good patches, I mean, literally about 3-4 months ago, all of a sudden it was like in the news again, and everybody was talking about, oh my God, it's so amazing.
Yeah, but
It's
I
so
think that
amazing.
had to do a lot with the TV show too, Jose. A lot of
But
people really liked Edge Runners.
and maybe, but I'm saying because Edge Runners came after all that hype, though. My question is, do you think that Halo has a chance to do that for all those naysayers? Because now it's, I mean, here's the thing. We've already talked for months, and even though it's getting easier to buy a PS5, it's still way easier to buy an Xbox. We are entering the holiday season where there's going to be some crazy deal on the Series S's. I'm sure there's going to be some great deals to pick up Halo Infinite along with that Series S. I mean, that stands as a potential like huge boost for them, and or at least for Game Pass subscriptions, right? To be able to say like you get to play like the S tier game for the system. I mean, do you feel like from what you've experienced in the co-op that it's enough to bring some people in that were
I
naysayers?
think that people who are Halo fans and have been waiting for co-op will be very happy with this update. And people waiting for Forge. We didn't even mention Forge. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
true.
wait to see what the community makes with Forge. But do I think it's going to have this enormous comeback like Destiny 2 over multiple years later, or like you said, Cyberpunk? No, not with this or with these seasonal updates. But do I think it could be a big hit if they launch a battle royale? Yes. I think if they make a BR that hits and then you get the influencers and the streamers playing it, it will have a huge comeback, along with hopefully at that point new maps and also new content from Forge makers and how they implement. You got to get that into the where everybody plays. You can't expect us to go search out certain Forge stuff and playing custom games all the time. They need to take creations from Forge and put that into their normal playlist.
That'd be cool in like Fiesta to throw in Forge maps.
Exactly. They need to figure a way to make like a Forge playlist that's easily accessible for everyone to see all these cool creations. Then yes, I think it has potential to grow. But having said all that, I still think Halo Infinite is a great game. I was having a blast playing multiplayer. I was having so much fun playing with Bacon Co-op. Like the game, I feel like Halo is just so unfairly judged. I even asked Chris Raygun, who's on Sacred Symbols, and he's a huge Halo guy, loves Halo more than me, loves Halo than all of us combined. He was streaming, and I asked him on his stream, I said, I feel like Halo Infinite is judged too harshly. It's unfairly judged compared to Call of Duty, compared to Battlefield. And he argued that, yes, that's true, but it's because Halo is different than Call of Duty. It's different than Battlefield. It's a bigger deal. It's a bigger game. It has a bigger history than those. And I'm like, I don't know. I still feel like it's unfairly judged and people just are way too hard on it and forget how great it is. Like even when he was streaming, he was laughing and having a great time and saying this map's really good, clearly having a fun time with the game. But why is that not enough for Halo? So I don't know. BubbleBoy, any closing thoughts on this?
He's absolutely right.
It's a great game. Like Halo Infinite is a great game. Even some guy in the chat was like, Base Diwali, he's right, this is a great game, and he was saying how much fun it is. I still feel like Halo gets so unfairly judged. I want to get Ains on Porsche Power. I want to get him on here and talk about this because he loves it too. And I don't get it. Like people are so hard on Halo, but they're not hard on Battlefield and Call of Duty.
I think a perfect.
They were a little hard on Battlefield. Sorry, Chase, but they were.
Yeah, okay, Battlefield, yes, but then they're just like, I don't know.
I think because we're all sports fans, a really good analogy that makes sense to me, and especially because we all live here in Denver, is like it's like the Nikola Jokic of the MVP or of the NBA, right? And like what he would have to do to win the MVP again this year would be to put up the most miraculous season of all time, right? And if LeBron James gets 1 point less than him, he will get the MVP. And what Jokic has to do compared to what LeBron James has to do.
I don't think that's a fair comparison because if LeBron James at age 37, 38 is averaging just 1 point less than Jokic, that'd be insane. Kevin Durant.
Same. Okay, because Michael Jordan's the GOAT, not LeBron James. But we can have that some debate some other time. Maybe we can go with the NFL, right? And for what it would take for Russell Wilson to win the MVP, which isn't going to happen now, versus like Patrick Mahomes.
There you go.
Yeah, right. Like people have those extremely high expectations, and again, the squeaky wheel
is that fair?
No, it's not. No,
life's not fair though, bud.
But exactly, yeah.
Halo Infinite is a good game, and I stand by it. It is hands down 343's best Halo. The grapple shot is still incredible. I love you, Halo. I will defend you until the end of time. Let's move on. BubbleBoy, tell us about Tetris. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, so I almost skipped this completely because I was just like, what the heck? I don't care about Tetris. It's a documentary that's not about Tetris. It's about it's called the Tetris Murders, right? And so it's back way when Tetris came out, and one of the clips here from IGN was, however unknown to many, one of the minds behind the widely popular global sensation met a very tragic, complex, and deadly end. On September 22nd, 1998, Vladimir Pohilko, who was involved with the development of Tetris, was found dead alongside his wife and their young son in Palo Alto, California home. Now, more than 2 decades later, the Palo Alto Police Department homicide investigators who were first on the scene revisit the haunting crime. Over the course of this gripping 3-part docuseries, the investigators unearthed new theories and evidence, further unraveling the mystery of this crime. What was once thought to be a murder-suicide in 1998 is now revealed to be something much more sinister. So, as the investigators revisit the evidence, dark connections to Russia surface. So it's just like one of those things that I was like, I thought for sure it was going to be talking about how like really putting down video games, right? And can you remember like the Tetris effect where like people were like, oh, I'm going crazy because I'm seeing Tetris and I got addicted to Tetris and video games are so bad and stuff. I thought it was going to be about that. I had no idea about this. I did not know this existed at all.
I didn't either.
And I
Is this
just
like making a murderer?
It's kind of what it sounds like, Jose.
A question: Where is ID? How can I watch ID channel?
He just said it's Discovery Plus, so nobody's gonna watch this. I'll just be straight. I was just gonna tell you straight up. Maybe BubbleBoy will sub and figure it out, but
Yeah, no, I don't know. But I'm like, it's just fascinating. Like, I love some of that, like scenes behind the scenes stuff. And
it's a mix of making murder and the Xbox Power On document.
yeah, kind of, exactly. And I'm just like a sucker for this kind of stuff. And
I hope they have a super dope remix of the song. I can hear it right now. The dun, 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 dun.
By the way, is Tetris the greatest game ever created? Like realistically, so
No.
simple, but
No.
everyone
take,
can
no.
play it.
But it's not. And
Really, no love for
as
Tetris?
an educator, you can understand. Well, never mind. But what this did was remind me, and it kind of goes back to our Halo talk, that all the people that make these games are people and they're human beings and they have lives and they have feelings. And the fact that there's another human being out there, I'll preface this with, I think the work that all of us do is incredible work and important work and lasting work. The fact that somebody else's brain and hands and fingers can make what we do now, even that they made Tetris. Could you make Tetris? No, I assume not. But that these things are coming from other people, and that I don't know. It's just amazing to me.
I still argue that Tetris is one of the greatest games ever made. You guys are wrong.
Shout out to Snelling for his
Call
Tetris
it
skills on our calculators in high school.
on the old TI-83 Plus. So BubbleBoy is going to be the one subscriber to Discovery Plus, and I expect him to report back.
I feel like, don't you get it
this-
free if you have Paramount or?
No, I
one
think
of
it's
those
on
other
HBO
things?
now.
Yeah,
Because
It's
they're
one of
merging, right?
Yeah, maybe you will have access to this. Let me know, because then I'd like to watch it too, though. So shout out
I'm on
to
it.
Tetris Effect. And BubbleBoy, close it with your final story here. By the way, I cannot wait for my jacket.
When is your jacket?
I'm looking
coming?
at
I
my
was gonna
jacket
ask you
right now. Oh, did you guys finish your challenges? Because you're not going to be able to order this
No.
bad boy now.
No. But when does your jacket get here?
I don't know. It's still pre-order. This
Yeah,
is
I thought it wasn't
available.
even until like April or something.
This Halo Gear Rewards item is available for purchase until November 15th, 2022. Gosh, I'm going to have a limited edition jacket, guys. I cannot wait.
It's like that Seinfeld episode with the suede
The-
jacket, bud.
What,
Don't wear it outside.
no. What's the one where he wears the jacket to get into the club? What was it called? The Friars Club? What was
Members
it?
Club
Oh,
jacket.
that one.
Members- Members only jacket, right?
Was it members only? Anyway,
I
BubbleBoy,
don't
tell us about your
remember. I know what you're
final
talking about.
jacket story here.
Yeah, hey, if Xbox keeps putting this stuff out, we got to keep talking about it. But the Xbox Letterman jacket, I put this on, full disclosure, I put this link on here before I actually looked at the jacket itself, because I was like, this is going to be incredible. I'm probably going to have to buy this. Daniel will have his Halo one. I'll have my oh.
Yeah, I was
This
going
is-
to say, when you sent
this is
this, I was
hideous.
like, this jacket is not
jacket
that cool.
Is actually
I like the lining
disgusting.
though. The linining's
That's
dope inside.
exactly what I was going to say. That
What do you mean lining?
The
What-
green. Look at the green on the inside.
Sorry, I'm looking at a different one. Yeah, because I'm looking
Yeah.
at other jackets, you guys. There's a sick Battlefield.
There
Okay, the lining
are
is-
some other really cool things, and there's some cool Christmas stuff, but
even this Pride denim jacket is way better than that one.
I big swing and a miss on the Letterman jacket, and I literally was like, I could rock. I had all these different ideas and pictures in my head before I clicked on it, and then I clicked on it, and it was literally about as underwhelming as can be. I think they've earned the right to have a couple of strikeouts, because everything else on this store is typically so fire, as the kids would say.
I mean, a
but
lot of it
this-
is fire. Let's be real.
The
Yeah,
holiday
but-
drop. There's some dope
Dude,
stuff.
guys,
in
There's
look
some
at. Did you see
really
this
cool
Halo
holiday
Infinite
stuff.
deconstructed bomber jacket? This is pretty cool. This all black
Yep.
jacket and this Battlefield one. I'm telling you, I know people love to hate on Battlefield, but you're right. I wouldn't buy this, but I definitely like that Halo one. Am I gonna have to have two Halo jackets, you guys? Because the black with the
you
green
you
here.
shouldn't have one. You can't have two.
Don't tell Allie. I don't even think she knows that I got the. No, she does because I told her that's
I
gonna
hope
be
that
my
you next year you better
Christmas
wear
and
that jacket
birthday.
in your Christmas card. That
Dude,
Halo
as soon as I
jacket.
get this bomber jacket, it's literally going to be the only jacket I wear outside. It's perfect. It's for dressing up. It's for casual wear. This Halo Infinite bomber jacket is legit. So shout out to the jackets. Again, we're just plugging the Xbox Gear Shop. Really, guys, go check it out. There's so much cool stuff. Are there any other new additions, Jose? What were you saying that we needed to check out? Does it show
the
the
Christmas line
All the
is
Christmas line is cool,
excellent.
bud.
Where is
Yeah.
that? How do you see that?
It's like
Just
you look for
type in
holiday.
Christmas up top, like
Holiday,
in the search
yeah.
bar. Or maybe is it
Holiday
holiday?
gift guide? Is
Maybe
that
after
gonna
the
bring
show,
us-
though. Not great podcast. Us
No,
looking through
guys.
the box stuff.
Oh my gosh! I
So
don't
there's
want to look
the-
at this. Holy crap! There's so much, you guys. Don't go
There's
here.
some really,
I would
really
spend
cool
so much
stuff in
money.
here.
See, guys.
And the
Okay, wait.
Go
This
ahead.
brings up a good point, though. Imagine if we were trying to wear this back in like middle school or high school, right? We would get.
I don't think
made
I
fun
could
of
have. I don't
so
think
much.
I was not secure.
We would be
enough in
exactly
my-
so embarrassed to wear. I hate that, by the way. I hate that.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
so happy that I'm wearing my Xbox Pride shirt right now. Wore this to Olive Garden tonight. I wear my Needler shirt all the time. I wear my N7 jacket everywhere, just hoping that somebody says something to me about N7,
Best
Mass
friend
Effect.
for life right there, bud.
Exactly. I hate that we lived in shame back in the day, BubbleBoy. So everybody go out and buy some Xbox gear, right, BubbleBoy?
There is something for everybody on the Xbox Gear Shop. I'm telling
Absolutely.
you. It's incredible.
There's cozy gifts, stocking
Those
stuffers,
koozies-
treat yourself,
Those Xbox puffin
Gifts under
drinkwares,
50?
have you seen those? They're incredible.
seasonal favorite. Guys, go to the store right.
Sorry,
It is-
PlayStation. Did you see? Actually, that was one I did want to talk about.
What?
Jose, especially. Did you see the Xbox Series X desk tidy?
I
It
did.
looks like a Series X, and you like
For
put your
pencils in it?
pencils
I
and
know.
stuff in it.
I got too many pencils though, but I already thought about it.
Yeah,
Jose does probably the most Xbox gear now at this point. Did you how many is that a shirt right now, Jose? What is that?
No, this is Ninja Turtles. I'm just saying I'm not afraid to
Oh,
wear
okay.
things that make me happy.
Well,
That's what I
yeah.
was pointing out.
I'm just saying.
No, I'm
I
not
wish we felt. Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. No, I'm saying I wish we didn't when we were younger.
To be fair, I did wear crazy stuff in high school.
You- that's very true.
anime
Jose,
shirts
yeah,
and Looney
Jose,
Tunes shirts and pimp
very
suits
true.
and
All
every
right.
I got
every
no
every
shit.
morning when I walk past all the
Yeah, we'd
kids
have to
playing
go
Magic
by.
at school, I look at them. I'm like, you guys do you keep it up. I
Exactly.
know everybody else
That's
here
what I
is
tell 'em
making
too.
fun of you, but you guys
Exactly.
keep doing
Hell
it.
yeah.
You're secure in yourselves, and
That's
I
right.
like it.
All right, let's jump into what have we been playing or watching. I will go first since I talked about it earlier. Halo Infinite campaign co-op, awesome. Guys, I did it. I beat Dark Souls 3. I
Congrats, buddy.
am no longer maidenless in the Dark Souls world. I don't know what they called it in there, but I did beat it. Jose, I'm not going to lie. I didn't find it as challenging as I thought it was going to be. There was only maybe 2 bosses where I'm like, ooh, this sucks. There was one that I just couldn't. It was like 3 a.m. when I was playing on the weekend, and that probably was a factor in it. I was probably falling asleep a little bit. Next morning, I woke up, beat him on the first try. So clearly, the sleep helped. Slept on it a little bit, was great. But then there's this one boss, you guys. The Nameless King sucked. I couldn't figure out his gear or his patterns. I eventually had to, thankfully I was a dex build, and then I just bow and arrowed him from a distance to death. That was the worst one. And that was really difficult because you had to fight. It was 2 stages, but it was like 2 bosses, like 2 different bosses. But then the main boss, I think I beat him on my like second try, and it wasn't even, I probably
Dude,
could have beat him on the
that's
first
how I
one.
felt about the Godkin duo as a mage in Elders. Everyone was like, it wasn't hard for those two. I didn't know what to do because I couldn't do both of them at the
Yeah,
same
no,
time. Like,
you
it was
had
so
to
hard.
with the mage. There were times on Elden Ring where I had to switch to the Rivers of Blood because like you have to like get certain combos. But I have to say, I already mentioned this. So cool to see how it evolved. I felt like I was just playing maybe like an Elden Ring DLC. Loved Dark Souls. I can't. I'm contemplating. Do I go further back? Do I go to 2? Do I go to 1? Do I go to Sekiro? I don't know, but I definitely was ready to be done with it at the end. I'm contemplating getting the other 2 achievements for the other endings, but that means that would be 2 other playthroughs. I'll let you in a second, BubbleBoy. It took me about 42 hours. Oh, BubbleBoy is saying, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, I'm saying you need to go to me now.
Okay, what?
Did you know there is a Halo Trolley
Oh
Fiedler
my-
t-shirt?
What? Send me the link. Send it in the chat right now.
I just found it. I was like, how did I miss
It's the
this
Xbox
earlier?
Gear Shop. It's incredible. I'm gonna have to buy that immediately. Send me the link.
MG $24.99.
Buying it anyway. So
Sorry, that was worth interrupting for.
Yes. So Dark Souls, loved it, you guys. JBiz, I did it. Dex build. I think I was a level 106. Like I said, about 42 hours. Jose, there are parts I have to say in Dark Souls where you could farm a little bit. You could go to certain areas. Towards the end there was a spot where I could get some pretty easy farming. Not as easy early on. You're right. Like in Elden Ring, where you could just take that warp and then just go farm those stupid trident guys or whatever. But I think you would be okay with it, Jose. I don't know. You're right. Not enough time. And then the last thing I want to say, I played DuckTales Remastered. I had bought this when it first came out back in the 360. This game sucks. I don't know why people thought it was good. There's one achievement I was trying to go for without getting hit on a pogo stick, getting through a section. Terrible. This game is not very good. I don't get it. Never understood DuckTales.
I love DuckTales, bud.
Jose, take it away. That's what I've been playing. Halo Infinite Co-op. Go play it. I love it. Love it.
So I'm going to give you in a minute a review of Gotham Knights. I did finish Gotham Knights. I'll talk about that in a second. Real quick though, Victoria and I have been watching Ink Master on TV. If you've never watched the Ink Master show, it's like a tattoo competition. Super awesome. Like honestly, I was like, man, I feel like I want to go get a tattoo. It's like season like 14 or something like that. It was a really great show and like really strong. And then COVID, for obvious reasons, just like totally crushed it. But it's back and it's on Paramount Plus, to be fair. And I did cancel Paramount Plus, and then I found out it was only $5, and I was like, oh, that's stupid. I'm bringing it back. So I've actually been watching some stuff on there. Also playing, like Dan, I finished Scorn. Because I finished Gotham Knights and I want to go play Summerfield when it comes out next week, I was like, I need something really like quick. And so I finished Scorn. I fully 100% agree. Not worth your time. Like, and I will say pro side, it is beautiful if in a gross way, but like visually
it's for
stunning.
a certain audience for sure, Jose. People who like puzzles and the atmosphere.
Sound design was amazing. Like truly like you felt like, especially with headphones, like you're there, you get like grossed out listening to stuff. And I also did, just like Dan, I liked there is that boss battle at the end. I did enjoy that. I kind of wish there had been more of that, but the ammo thing is a huge oversight, straight up. Ending does not make sense, like in any sense of the word. Just straight up, like be prepared. If you get all the way through it, even with the guide, you're going to finish and be like, okay, that was a waste of time. You don't even get credits. It literally ends and it goes right back to the menu. And then there's an option to watch the credits. And I was like, man, that doesn't seem right. Anyway, Gotham Knights. I did finish it. My final playthrough time was about 37 hours for the record. Which is pretty just under like averages. Just for those that are achievement hunters, without doing anything to try to actively get achievements, I ended with 660 achievements score out of 1,000. So like, it doesn't seem like it's ultra hard to get the 1,000 out of 1,000. I'm just not who I am, but definitely boosted my score. Cons about the game: it is a little repetitive towards the end. I will say, like, again, you're doing the same kind of little fights over and over and over. There were also some bugs that I encountered, not a whole lot. And after that patch that came out, I actually hadn't had any since the patch. So hopefully that addressed it. The bugs were mostly things like I think twice in my whole playthrough, my game just crashed and I started over. But the saving was really great to where I was basically on the same building I was at, ready to rock. I did have one time where a guy was in my game, it glitched and my game crashed and then he wasn't there. I will say that was also a con. I didn't love that you can't turn off matchmaking. So like literally at any point in your game, someone can just join your game and play with you, which sounds really cool in theory, but here's the problem. Sometimes the way you get like bonus points for XP is you have to complete the battles in certain ways, like don't get hit, or you have to sneak attack 2 guys or something like that. And if you have a person out there that you're not talking to who's just like going rogue and doing things, like that screws it up for you. So I didn't love that you couldn't just say like, I want to turn off matchmaking right now and I'll add it when I want. I also didn't love the crafting element. So I don't want to get into whole pieces of it, but I don't think it was necessary. I think it was honestly just a convoluted system where I was like, I would have rather, instead of like crafting the new suits, because that's not even the right way to describe it, just let me earn a new suit. After every mission, new suit available. After every mission, new suit available. I think that would have been a better use of my time, just picking it for visuals. Because the other part is that what they wanted you to do, and I just wasn't willing to do it, was like there are basically a couple of different powers in the game. So think like fire, freezing, acid. And when you build, like you might build a suit that's like strong in fire and weak in snow. And so the idea is that when you face certain enemies, like different gangs, some gangs are like really immune to fire, but really damaged by snow. And what they wanted you to have is like the different batons and go and switch that in the menu. That's not happening. I just picked a really overpowered one, and that's what I'm fighting everybody with. I think that was not a great use of the system. That's just my opinion. The pro side, absolutely gorgeous game. Like even with a 30 FPS, which everyone complains about and was super like I'm canceling my order, it was a gorgeous game and it loaded like magic on the Series X. Like truly, even from the loading screen, you're right into it. It didn't feel like you waited for anything to load, even when you're getting into games or going to the Belfry or whatever. Just beautiful. And truly, there are times when you're seeing characters up close and like on the faces of your character, you can see like the dimples in their skin and incredible. So I really appreciate that. I thought the story was really cool. There are some cool twists. Not going to say anything other than that, but they did a really great job with the lore. And I also like that they had both new villains and old ones. Like I think when you play a Batman game, you want to see some of those classic characters. I think it was cool the way they did it in this game. I already mentioned a little earlier. I love the costumes. I think they did such a great job. And granted, I was Batgirl, Barbara Gordon the whole time. I still have literally not got back and played Nightwing or Robin or Red Hood. I will go do that at some point just to see what they're like, but I'm sure their suits are super cool as well. I thought the fighting was fun. I thought a lot of people complained and said it wasn't like Arkham. I disagree. I think it was a lot like Arkham. I don't think it was as tight as Arkham. There were definitely times where I hit the right button to do something and it didn't do it. It did something different. Or like I was trying to hit this guy and it zoomed me over to this other guy. That was a little frustrating, but I thought the parry system was great and the dodging system. I also like the traversal. So like, you know how you get around the city. Again, I played as Batgirl, so I had the glide. It sounds like from what I've heard, that's the best one to have. I haven't used like the warping from Robin and stuff like that. But I thought it was also seamless. Like it's a big map, and it's pretty cool that like I can like glide for 1,000 meters and then get on my bike and then launch off my bike and grapple up to a building. And it all, again, no pixelation on my loading, no stuttering. Very cool. And then last couple, I liked the ending. I wasn't sure at first, and I'm not going to say what it is, but I did really like it and appreciate the way they did it. It was very smart. And the last thing I have to say is there is no way in hell that this game was worse than Scorn. Like that is not even possible. Like it really does bother me that they gave Scorn a 6 and they gave this a 5. I think that is a gross misrepresentation.
Speaking of that, it was like number 2 best selling game on the PSN network.
So here's my take on it. I know we don't do the numbers. I think a 7 is a fair grade for it. But in our scale, I think it's worth your money, worth your time. If you don't want to pay full price, don't. I get it. There's a lot of games right now, especially if you got Game Pass. I think it's a great buy for Black Friday or for Christmas. If I'm talking a dollar amount, I think it's very fair to pay 50 for it. If you can get it for less than 50, like a 40 or a 35, I think it's a no-brainer. I promise you will have fun playing this game. I promise you will like the story. I think it was a great mix of like sneaking and busting in, and I just thought it was very well done. So I'm happy with it. I know that it was so much hype for year, and then like right at the end there were a couple of fumbles that really brought it down a notch, but I think they delivered pretty well. So that is my official spoiler for your review. Chance, what have you been playing?
No, I appreciate that. That's exactly kind of what I wanted to hear because I will happily be picking it up when it drops price.
No. You need to play Persona 5. We need somebody to play.
We're going to talk about what I'm going to be playing, and it's because what I have been playing, and I just, our old buddy Christopher Gluns, you remember old Glunsy, right, Daniel? He's in your old office now. He's our teaching partner. He was a U.S. history teacher when you were there. Oh, come on. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, he's like, Chance, I gotta ask you something, man. He's like, I got on last night and you were playing Power Wash Simulator. And I was like, dude. And he's like, no. He's like, hear me out. He's like, I absolutely loved House Flipper. I got on one day and saw you were playing House Flipper and started doing that because I was like, well, if Chance is playing it, it must be decent. He's like, I loved House Flipper, but he's like, the problem is my wife would get mad at me for playing it. She's like, "Oh, you can lay the tile over here, but you can't go in the bathroom and lay the tile. It's been sitting there for 3 weeks in a row." It's just like, he's like, "So is it different? Is it the same? Like, is it basically the exact same thing?" And I was like, "It's addicting. At the end of the day, it's satisfying and it's addicting." And the way Chris put it, that I was like, dude, that is genius. So often at work, there's you start your day, and whether it's a new list of things to do or a constantly evolving list of things to do, that feeling of never quite finishing your checklist of things to do because another fire comes out or another kid comes in or another parent calls. This game, you get to check off all those things on your to-do list, and every time you do one, the part that you like clean flashes blue, and then it goes bing, bing, and that feedback it's marvelous. I don't know how else to describe it. I think I was 14 hours in, and I just started it. Yeah. I can't remember what day. And I know. And in my defense, I've been playing a lot of it on the old the Backbone. But it is worth your time, and it's on Game Pass, so it's absolutely worth your money. I cannot recommend it enough if you're sitting there for the next couple of days looking for something to do. The only problem is you're not going to be able to, well, you might be able to finish it before Somerville, but you're not going to you're going to be like, oh gosh, should I play Somerville or should I keep playing Power Wash? Chapeau.
Mayor Ben Smith said that was one of his games of the year.
I'm telling you, Chapeau, and I'm not done, but go on.
No, I know. I just forgot to mention this on my list, but it's in the similar vein. I picked up Marvel Snap, that like card game that came out on the phones.
I've heard.
And I had to delete it. Not because it was bad, but because for the last like 6 days or something like that, like every time I was like had a free moment at home or in the toilet, or I was like, going to play a quick game. I would take the girls to gymnastics. And I was playing there. It's very fun, but it's the same thing, Chance, where it's like very addicting. And the games are short. They're like maybe 4 minutes long. And there is enough strategy. I will say, to the point where I got before I deleted it, I'd kind of reached this plateau where like the first like hour or two you play it, truly, it's very exciting because you're unlocking so many new things and you're seeing so many new cards. And like by the time I was kind of hitting that plateau. But again, I was just like, I felt dumb where I was like, I shouldn't be wasting my time with this. And my applaud to the developers. It is a very cool game. It's very well built. It runs smoothly. The matchmaking system is rad. I just was like, I have to delete this because I would rather do some other stuff with my time. But I just wanted to mention that because it's in the similar vein. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, I get it. And Mr. K-Step from our sister podcast on the Trophy Room, he loved it too. So, what's it say on the old show notes there for what I've been playing?
It says BubbleBoy has some news.
BubbleBoy has some
big.
All right, let's hear the
news. What do you think? Take a guess.
You bought a PS5.
You bought a PS5, really, yeah. You bought a PS5.
Oh boy.
I did. Did you play it?
I did. God of War.
Isn't it bigger than you thought it was going to be, though, realistically? Freaking huge, isn't it?
That's what she said.
Literally,
no, PS5 is gargantuan.
Ashley walked down and she goes,
"What the hell is that?
What the hell is that?" She's like, it looks like a child tried to design a spaceship and failed.
Yeah, they're hideous. Let's be real.
And then there's a stand that it comes with.
Yeah, you have to put it on the stand too. You have to.
You do?
Yeah, you're supposed to vertically and horizontally. Did you get digital?
Man. No, because they were sold out. But dude, I got one. Me and Ruby both. As I was texting you guys,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and by the way, dude, that's got to be even more heinous. At least the digital is somewhat symmetrical. You've got that giant bulge.
Oh, it's the weirdest looking thing. Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Dude. Okay, yeah, the digital is like acceptable. Oh, heinous.
I was like all excited pulling it out, and it did one of those like. Like, ooh, oh, that was an accident. Like, but they're like, I guess they're shipping out that way. But no, in all seriousness, God of War, I am not joking in any way. In the first hour, I almost, not even joking, cried 3 different times. I'm not kidding.
How much were you actually playing?
I am not kidding. It is slow to start. Stop. There's nothing. You knew it was gonna be slow.
I know,
There's
but
so
I just
Yeah,
remember
I know.
much to build up.
but like
And-
the pros and cons. We can talk about
Dude,
gameplay versus cinematics.
and you're the only one with a son on here, and not that it should matter because we should feel.
No,
just
I
the
agree.
same,
I felt
but
the same way when I played the game.
Goodness,
play
my
it.
goodness, and I'm starting to. So there's that, right? So I was almost in tears 3 separate times for 3 very different moments that weren't all just about Atreus and him being a father. The second thing, my jaw literally dropped. I did like probably, I think I've done it 5 times. Yep, 5. Because then the next one, I counted how many times I have that X rocker chair that like you really sit back in it to.
It's like the letter C.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
I
is.
know
you
what
have
you're
to
talking
sit
about.
back
Gamer
in it.
chair. Got it.
Yeah. On the edge of my seat, literally on the edge of my seat, waiting to see like what was going to happen and what I was going to do. And granted, and you're right, I noticed each time I was on the edge of my seat, I wasn't actually playing. Dude,
I'm sure it's good. I will get to it eventually, but you're way more into God of War. Sorry, as in general, you've been there from the beginning. You've played like all the God of War.
I'm excited to hear
haven't you?
your from you, bud. I like God of War.
I wasn't like, this is the greatest game of all time. But here's how Kyle and Joe described it, that I was like, that's perfect. It's brilliant. They were like, so rarely does a sequel live up to the original when the original is like a 10 out of a 10. But
I disagree. I
like
don't think God of War 2018 is a 10 out of 10. They say it's a masterpiece. I strongly disagree. There are lots of the fast travel in God of War. I was trying to get my platinum and go back for it. Terrible. Fast travel, the menus, terrible. Customization, the roll button being X.
why you can remap it
In this one, I hear.
And
Yeah,
so,
I'm excited about that. Trust me.
And so we'll get to that with the controller. I forget what I was saying. Oh, it's amazing. It is simply stunning to look at. And I am playing it because I have
the first
my
one was good too.
OLED and I have the VRR. I'm not playing it on performance mode.
You're not? I don't know how you're not playing it.
It hasn't glitched a second. I have not seen a single stutter.
No, I'm not saying you'll see a stutter. I just can't do the 30 FPS. Well, Jose
It's
cares.
dude.
How many hours are you in?
Can't tell. Like
said he's
4,
only like-
not very many, 3 or 4.
Well, just because they say like the playtime's like 30. That's why I was just curious how it's getting so
I keep hearing like 5 hours in is when it really.
I do
bumps
appreciate.
up.
I saw the trophy list easily attainable this time, not caca like before.
I
to get
got
the
it in
platinum.
the last time too. I don't know.
Grindy.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
I'll get to it eventually, but
here's what I'm gonna say. Okay, before you blah blah blah. There is a chance it could compete with Elden Ring for Game of the Year,
and rightfully so. But I still think Elden Ring is way more revolutionary.
I want to hear that at the end. That's what I want to hear.
Exactly.
And if it
I'm
keeps
sure
progressing,
I'm sure it's going to be your probably your. It might be your game of the year, but I think as an industry that took over a phenomena, I still think Elden Ring's going to be
for sure. And
bigger.
I'm not
like even
talking
now,
to
like
kids,
even
I'm not talking to
exactly,
colleagues.
And that's what I mean. Like even now on my Twitter feed, I'm not seeing that much besides the first day about God of War, and not that to say that I'm sure it's a fantastic game. I know it is. I'm sure it's a 9 to 10 out of 10, whatever. I just think what Elden Ring did, like was like
for sure.
It was unexpected too.
None of us, me and Jose, all of us in the nerd chat had never played these games, and we were sucked in and couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I think God of War is great, but to me, it's one of those where like I'm just gonna wait. I appreciate Sony and their third person narrative driven watching adventure games. Yeah. It's just I got to be in a certain mindset to take on that, and
you do.
And I'm glad you have it. It's about time you got one. I'm happy you got one. I'm more interested to think, what do you think about the controller? Yeah, let's get to that.
So Eric was giving me crap. He's like, what do you mean you're not playing on No Mercy mode? I was like,
why would I do that? Have fun.
I was like,
play games, have fun.
Well, but they're not hard games. I was like, I'm playing on balanced because I tell you what, going back to not having paddles without paddles,
god awful.
I don't even know what I'm going to do. I literally think I use the paddles more than I use my right thumb button. Yeah. And then on top of it, how many times I have changed my weapon instead of moved forward because of where the left thumbstick is. It's just, I'm like, they're doing this out of spite. I know they are. They're like, we're not going to move the left thumbstick because that's where Xbox puts it. We're not doing that. I'm just like, so dumb. The haptic feedback makes me feel like my controller is broken. However,
the gentle.
it's cool as hell.
It is cool, but it
cool.
can it will get annoying. Like that's how I felt like with Ghost. I'm like,
I
oh,
guess
this
it's
is really
very
cool.
rarely used in God of War, at least. Like it's only in like when you have to like.
What about
through,
does
like,
it have the
really...
haptic triggers? I turn those off immediately. Like I don't want to make
That's what I
this
was
harder.
just talking about. Yeah, that's what.
Oh,
So it's when you're like when you're hacking through like ice and stuff, which is
It's
not
harder
like in
and
a
harder.
combat thing. It's like,
oh yeah,
but
turn
I'm like,
that
it
off.
feels broken. But I kind of
yeah.
each time it comes up, I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be fun again.
I thought you were talking about the vibrations. I appreciate the smaller, gentle vibrations, but guys, I forgot to tell you when I was playing Halo Infinite. Or I don't remember what it was. It was Halo Infinite. I turned back the vibration. It had been so long since I played games with vibration because I just turn it off whenever I'm playing first-person shooters. I'm like, this is actually way cooler than I thought it was, and I didn't give enough credit. So Xbox is just slightly behind on that, but yeah, the triggers, I turn those off. Chance, I couldn't stand the trackpad. Why is this here? Why is this here? Why?
I keep reading it. Like I read a few like top 10 hints and tricks, and it's like remap your this so that you can do that. And every time you can't see something, I'm like, that's just you're just making excuses to try and use something that isn't exactly.
We need paddles.
So
I wish
the
they
last
had.
thing I'll say, the speaker on the controller scared the hell out of me again. The first time something happened, I was like,
all the time in
God.
freaking
I hate that.
Horizon.
Turn that off too again.
And I'm just like. And it does it so like if you grab your axe and you like slide down a rope, you hear it, and I'm just like,
is this adding anything?
It's exactly what I was going to ask. I was like, does this add to it?
Why
like,
not just hear it through my headphones? I don't know. Well, what do you think about the ergonomics? So I do think it's the thumbsticks.
So here, Jose, get your
much improved.
Ready.
Much improved. I think it's too wide, right, Chance? It's too wide.
No, I was going to say the girthy part that you really wrap your fingers around is entirely too skinny. I agree.
I agree. Chance,
it's not.
I've noticed when I was playing Elden Rings, my hands would hurt and I would get cramps holding this thing.
Bigger is better, it turns out.
Jose, I would get cramps, and it was holding this big thing. Yeah. So. Yeah. I think it's better than the DualShock 4. I do think that they're in the right direction, but I agree, Chance. It gets a little too small and thin and narrow down here. These nubs down here.
It's really.
That's what she said.
It's like genuinely
it's improved. Their best one yet, but not, dude. Every time I go back to Elite, oh my god!
And I was telling Eric that, so I was like, with the bumpers, he's like, well, it's fine. You can just, for the price of a Series S, you could just go ahead and get that whatever Edge controller or whatever it's called. So, the only other thing that I want to say about my new adventures in PlayStation Land is that I looked to try and consider possibly getting into the PlayStation Plus Ultra Premium Pass. That's a hard pass. What I'll do is I'll rack up a couple of free trials. I'll play. I want to try Stray. I want to do Miles Morales. Yep. And what was the other one on there?
Ratchet and Clank.
No,
Returnal.
Yep. Returnal.
Yeah, that would be the only thing.
And I'll probably buy, which I just saw actually. You can buy the collector's edition of Horizon Forbidden West for $100. Like $30 more for the collector's edition that used to be $200.
I'm not, dude.
Which worries me a little. I'm like, oh, maybe
speaking of Horizon, guys, I'm not as high as on Horizon as you guys are. Even I don't even think Kyle finished the Forbidden West, by the way. But
he
like the fact that they're making like a TV show, the VR game, I'm like, they're going way too in on Horizon. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't think Horizon is that good. I will not be playing the second one. I do want to play God of War, the second one, eventually, but other than that, my PlayStation Mass Effect, that's what I'm looking forward to playing on next. I will play it, Chance. Again, it took me time to get to God of War 2018, but I did play it. I did enjoy it.
And of course, you have so much coming out right now too, that you're excited about playing, that it's probably not the right time. But wait, when you have a good 2 or 3 week stretch with, man,
I know it's worth it. I thought honestly, Chance, I thought about getting it, but I was like, I want to finish the platinum run on that. But I was just playing it a couple weeks ago. I didn't tell you. I don't know if I remember telling you guys this. I was trying to get the platinum, but like I hate the X button being the roll. And I was trying to
I don't
travel
even
around to get the
remember-
Black Crows. It's the fast travel is so bad. It is so
But you
bad.
know
and
why,
the
right? Like
menus-
it was because they wanted that single shot thing that doesn't go away. There's purpose
Oh,
behind
but
it.
it's-
I'll
but
at
that's-
least give you that.
But that's
Could you not
good
button map
gameplay.
on PS4?
No, I don't think you could.
Kind of.
No,
that
you
is
couldn't. And
no.
so
Joseph and Kyle were talking about that too, and they're like,
You
"We say fix
can.
that." I was like, "How is that not a thing back
because
in
not every game
4 years
has it.
ago?"
But anyway, guys, I'm holding the
That's
Elite controller
absurd.
back to back, Chancey, because you can do it. Oh, it's just
Dude,
this
I
is-
literally so I have my like stand where I usually like keep my cell phone and the remote control and stuff right next to my chair, and my Spartan 117 Elite Series 2 wireless Xbox controller is sitting there, and every once in a while I'm just like I'm playing God of War, but I just pick that one.
you gotta hold it. Yeah,
Like,
just to remind.
oh,
Like,
this is what it's
this is
supposed to
what a
feel
good
like, baby.
controller feels like.
Yeah,
There
oh,
is
this is
a
what
it's I think it's called Vitrix. They have their own controller. I think I might ask my mom to get it for me for the PS5. It's you can have it to where it's offset, but the only problem is it's not official PlayStation, and I'm definitely not getting that pro style PlayStation. I'm not.
yeah,
I
for
refuse to.
$700.
Not even if it was 150, not even if it was 100. I just don't like the overall layout. But enough
Yeah.
about PlayStation. This is an Xbox
I know,
podcast.
but I had to.
No, it's fine.
It was
No,
there,
you'll have
and-
to give us the review of it, and I'm interested to see what you think about it at the end, and if
Yeah.
it's going to be
Yeah.
as I still think I agree. I think it's between Elden Ring and God of War, but I still think Elden Ring
Well,
just took over.
It would have to make some major, not necessarily improvements, but like things.
It can't just all be story. Like that's what I think people forget
Correct.
when they fall into these God of War. They are great stories, but that's not
Correct.
That's not
I've
everything.
played very little of the game. The combat, I think I've been in combat like for 10 minutes. But man, as far as a good movie goes,
Yeah, well, that's what they're good at. So
and
that's-
that, well, yeah, I'm done.
let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. By the way, I'm thinking about
speaking of which,
getting this Forza Horizon 10th anniversary T-shirt. I think I'm gonna get it. I gotta give credit to Forza.
Did you see the Fiedler?
I did, but like, I'd rather have the Forza. I think
whatever.
I like the Fiedler. Go ahead, Chance.
I
Best food you
have
had.
to go. I don't. Do we do a? How do I?
Dilly.
Guess what I ate?
Finally, the bagel. God,
No,
how was
finally, the
it?
salt bagel. I walked in and obviously I wanted to slap Tracy in the face because like, how dare you? How come you didn't tell me how good the cheese was? It was incredible. I was like, how is this even possible? This shouldn't be good. It shouldn't be better than an everything bagel. Everything bagels are great. This has less than an everything bagel. It was probably the best bagel I've ever had in my entire life.
To clarify, is it like a pretzel salt that is just on a bagel?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
There's no reason it defies the laws of gravity and physics that it is that good, but it was phenomenal. And I don't know. Please question away.
Question, point of order. If it's just like pretzel salt, why is it so hard to make? Like, why is it just not readily available?
They sell out of it. So
They
much.
sell out. That's
so
so
why aren't they making more?
I was like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's your number one seller, but
she's like, oh, you're
ramp it
lucky
up.
it's the last one. The only other thing that I could think,
Yeah,
was
that doesn't
I
make
had-
sense. What? This is a horrible business, right, Jose?
And Einstein's, no, because she always brings up, she's like, I know Einstein's used to make them. They'd sell it all the time, and then they just discontinued it. But here's the only other thing that I could think
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I know, but I went to take a bite one time where all the like salt flavoring stuff's on the top, and obviously this is really getting into the weeds of it. My tongue touched the bottom of the bagel first, and even just that was not so salty because you don't want that, but like just a perfect salt taste. I can't describe it.
Apparently, we gotta try these, Jose.
We gotta get a glimpse of these warlocks out here.
Geez.
Seriously,
I'll go next.
Seriously,
The best food I had this week was Olive Garden. We just went tonight. Got the standard chicken and shrimp carbonara, the standard zuppa toscana soup, and I had one breadstick because otherwise I just eat breadsticks all night.
Hogwash.
I swear.
I don't understand.
I know. And
Why?
they were really fresh, you guys. I wanted to eat the whole, they were so good. And I was like, you gotta.
Was it just
limit
because
yourself.
Allie was watching?
No, she was actually in the bathroom with Grayson.
See,
and
you
he was
could
making
have-
a huge Duke. I could have had as many as I wanted, but I didn't do it. So shout out to Grayson being the great distraction, and I still didn't do it. Jose, what about you? What was the best food you had this week? Yeah, I was like, Allie, you take him. It's your turn. I'm not taking him. Wipe his butt again. You take him.
Oh, he was taking a huge Duke. I thought you said she was taking
not
a huge
she. No, Grayson.
Rewind. I can't wait to listen to this on Saturday.
Well, Allie
That's
takes
why I
big
was like,
Dukes too. There's no
Jesus
hiding
Christ,
that.
that's
So
why I was choking
no,
over here.
runs in the
Oh,
family,
man.
Brooklyn.
This
Oh.
is why this is my best. It makes me feel great. Okay, best food this week. We went this weekend. Went to Chipotle. Hadn't been there in a couple weekends, and man, I was like super hungry, and it was just delightful. But the best thing we actually had, our cat Nacho. His birthday was on Sunday, and so every year on his birthday, because his birthday is on National Nacho Day. Like that's why that's his birthday. We had nachos with my family and my parents and stuff, and it was awesome, man. Just a really fun, good meal that like everybody gets to make their own. Even the girls were into it, so that was the best thing we had this week was nachos. Yeah, good times.
Very, very nice. Gentlemen, this has been Xbox Record This, episode 80. This was a long and girthy one, Jose.
That's what she said.
You can follow me at Daddy Diwali across all social media. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Chipotle Bear. You can also find me on Twitter at Chipotle_Bear. I actually was hanging out with Luke Lore this week. He, God, I'm sorry, Luke. I can't remember the name of your podcast. He's Insipid Ghost on Twitter. He was on Trophy Room last week, but he's also a teacher, man. So it's cool to connect that way. Yeah. And his podcast is really rad, where he gets to interview like a lot of really cool people in the
expansion pass.
That's what it is. Xbox expansion pass. Thank you. So shout out to Luke for hanging out with me on Twitter, but you can always find me there too if you want to hang out too.
And BubbleBoy, what about you?
In the 9 realms, I think right now hanging around Midgard, trying to brave the Thimble Winter.
You made
as always, Sony ponies and Xbots. It's gamer time, and see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real Men of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Giant Taco Salad Inventor.
Mr. Giant Taco Salad Inventor.
A culinary creation that baffles the human mind. A 12,000-calorie salad.
Ah, caramba.
Ground beef, refried beans, guacamole, cheese, sour cream, and if there's any room left, a few shreds of lettuce.
I don't see no lettuce.
Some may ask, is your taco salad healthy? Of course it is. It's a salad, isn't it?
You can eat that deep fried crunchy bowl.
So crack open a nice cold Bud Light, conquistador of the calorie. You put the feast in Fiesta.
Mr. Giant Taco Salad Inventor.
Ay caramba.
Ay caramba. Xbox Record This is a podcast created by Daniel Walenzik. You can follow him at Daddy Diwali on all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_Bear on Twitter. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoy N7. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. If you'd like to find out more about the show, visit xboxrecordthis.com.